All right, we live. We live now. So, as you know, this is my weekly chat, and this is my He-Man Women Haters comic book live stream. And on this live stream, we talk comics and we talk misogyny, and we're all out of comics, but we're still gonna talk about them.
Go ahead.
And we already got some guys in the chat. We got who we got here. We got Shadow. We got Nerdy. We got Trevino. We've got. I don't see Donna in there, and she was complaining on Twitter about she was waiting, and I don't see her. So
her boyfriend probably got home. So she's like,
yeah,
"Well,
she had to pretend like she didn't know what was going on." She said, "What? I don't know what you're saying."
Man, she shot you down.
She did. What's that? What's that Bob Marley song? It's not Shoot the Sheriff. There's no song where he's like, "He shot me down." Maybe it was a Johnny Cash song. Somebody don't have her headphones on, and it's Judy. It's not Shoot the Sheriff. There's no song where he's like, "He shot me down."
What? No.
Johnny Cash. Judy, put your dang headphones on.
My headphones are on.
Oh, well, mute. Somebody needs to mute the YouTube page that they got pulled up.
I do not. Wrong.
All right, you got it muted. Savage Berserker's in here. Anthony's in here.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Somebody don't have this muted. Hey, everybody that's got, when you've got your window pulled up, you've also got your YouTube live stream pulled up. Go to the YouTube page and mute it.
It's muted.
Where's I'm getting this feedback from? I don't believe you, Judy.
Trust me, I'm muted.
Try getting out of it and get back into it.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
All right. You good?
Judy gonna have to quit using them busted headphones. What we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to go down to Radio Shack and get him some good headphones. Hey, everybody in the live chat, we're gonna take up an offering after we're done here. We're gonna take up a love offering as we used to do at my church, and we're gonna get Judy some headphones.
Yeah, we're gonna get us some headphones.
Are we good now?
I don't think there's as much of a. Yeah, I don't really hear a feedback now. But what's up, everybody? What's up in the chat? We are going to talk some comics today, and we're also going to talk some misogyny. Good old misogyny.
I'm always down for that.
Donna's like, I don't think this is going to happen. I would just love, I would love to talk to Donna one time in person, and I'd just be like, Donna, you are too sassy for your own good.
I really do think like she would be invited by anybody who has a comic book YouTube channel, and anybody would love to have her on to chat with her. Being honest.
There she is. Speak of the devil, and she shot here. Hey Donna, what's going on? It's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. It's good. So, all right, we got some topics today. We had a good comic week this week. We had some good comics come out. What?
All right.
Oh, there's Nerdy. What's up, Nerdy Texan?
Sorry, I had to find my headphones.
All good.
Welcome.
Or else I couldn't hear a thing. My microphone's very weird. The headphones actually go into the microphone.
Somebody says in the chat there that they were barred from subbing and finally got to sub again. How were you barred from subbing?
How does that happen? Yeah.
Were you subbing too hard? You just went around to subbing people? And they were like, look, you got to chill out for a little while, boy.
Yeah. Gave you 3 strikes.
I also love like Donna and Berserker in the chat right now. I love this back and forth that Donna and Berserker have because they both live in a different Vancouver, and they both try to pretend that their Vancouver is better than the other Vancouver.
Oh,
And they go back and forth, and they're like, "Well, my Vancouver has this," and they're like, "Well, my Vancouver has this." Well, your Vancouver has a drug problem. Well, your Vancouver has no beaches.
Both of them have AIDS. Both of them have STDs. So you know what? At the end of the day, they both lose.
no.
Oh, you just took that little puppy and you just punted it.
No shame.
You're like, take this.
Nope.
Oh man.
Oh, I asked a question in the chat. What was everyone's favorite comic book that they got this week?
Oh man. I want to talk about that. Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and take the floor then?
All right. So my favorite comic book this week was Imaginary Fiends #2. I'm telling you guys, this book from Vertigo is legit. I am definitely in love with this comic book. I really do appreciate you hooking me on to this Underground, because this comic book is. I mean, I read the second one today, and that last page.
I know.
Oh my God! I
I'm
was like,
looking
you
at.
gotta be kidding me.
I'm looking at conservative. It's conservative nerds avatar right now, and it's triggering me really hard from the Imaginary Fiends book.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
When I saw that, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't read it, but Imaginary Fiends issue 2 had this last like killer page cliffhanger, and it like made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, that thing was like, oh my God, what the fuck is
I
that?
know. It's like who came up with this and who thought, hey, I'm gonna have this.
A demented soul.
It's gonna be so cool, guys. You're gonna like it, and then everybody else in the room's just like, "Hey, man, sounds good. All right, have the pages ready." You know, it's like what? But
Yeah,
it's
but
really. Go ahead.
I picked up I picked up about 7, 8 comic books today. You know, all new, most of them all new books that just came out, and that one probably hit the mark. And I love Batman the White Knight, but Imaginary Fiends.
The one problem that I have with Batman the White Knight is it almost just doesn't have enough Batman in it to justify the name. So it's almost like you would just call it White Knight Batman or something like that. Batman with like little letters underneath or something. Because, or like, you know how they do the Batman Detective Comics, like put Batman over the side here or something. Because it's the Joker show. And
It really is.
Batman's in a couple of pages, like every, couple of issues with a really dramatic, couple of pages, and then it's back to the Joker.
What I will say about the White Knight, though, is that I feel like it's building to the Joker failing epically, and I don't know why I'm going to enjoy that, because while I do like this take on Jack Napier's character, I also don't like him still at the same time, because he's become like a very... he used to like manipulate people maliciously. Now he's manipulating people politically to get more power, which is kind of like, oh, you're actually a civilized evil now. But it's... So we'll see where it goes,
Well, it's almost... It makes a lot of sense, because I've seen a lot of TV shows like this where the villain becomes a good guy, and then he struggles so hard to get what he wants that he breaks and becomes a whole new villain again. It's like eventually he cracks and he's right back to being the villain, and he doesn't even realize it. And then the good guy has to come in and pretty much stop him because he's gone so overboard. So it does make a lot of sense to me. I can kind of see that happening later on. He's a different kind of... It's like you're saying, he's a different kind of evil right now. And he thinks what he's doing is right. I think he does. I think what he thinks what he's doing is right, because he's still crazy. And eventually it's gonna come to a head. Oh, hey, we can begin our chat too, guys, because Dark Philly just came in here and she gave us permission, so we can go ahead and get started.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to tell everyone what my favorite comic book this week I got was.
You go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's actually the Tick issue #2. It is really good actually, because there's a lot more than what I was actually expecting, and the ending is really good. Like that last panel of the main story. Am I coming out okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you good.
Okay, I just heard a weird echo.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
it's this the Tick is very weird, like how it is, like somewhat psychedelic, like with how it looks and what they go through. I even mentioned that in my review of the first issue of this. But we're actually learning about the Tick's origin and the past, and the ending is him pretty much about to kiss his ex-wife.
Hmm.
And it's just like,
and what book was
but
this
here's
again?
the thing, the Tick issue 2.
Tick,
it's
okay.
brand new this year. It came out last week, but I didn't get it because it was sold out. Like it came out on Wednesday, sold out on the very first day. So I just finally got it today.
Somebody said spoon.
Yes.
I remember that. Did you guys watch the TV show?
Oh yes,
came out.
Oh, not the new one, but the cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so did anybody watch the live action?
No.
I don't have Amazon Prime, so I can't watch it.
I haven't watched it either. I was trying to get, see if anybody had and kind of gauge whether I needed to take time to watch it. I watched too many TV shows already. I had to cut back on some of them because it got to where I was watching a TV show, 1 to 2 TV shows every night, and it's just I got other stuff to do, so I had to boycott some of them. I dropped, of course, Supergirl when it got super PC. It made me sad because I really liked the actress. And then I also dropped The Blacklist. I don't know if you guys watched The Blacklist, but I dropped it because it got really PC, like to the point to where it was just this last season was a dumpster fire. And I really like what's his name, David Spader.
Spacey?
So, no, it's David Spader, the guy from Stargate.
Yeah.
Dave Spader.
Dave Spader, yeah.
James.
Is it James? James Spader?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really like him. I liked him in just about everything he's been in. He's a really good actor. So when that show come out, it was so PC at this last season. Just hurt me on the inside, hurt me right in the feels. So I had to cut it loose. Is there any shows that y'all had to quit watching here lately because it was so cringe?
Oh man, I barely watch any more TV. Like I've cut most of my cable off because, most of the shows that I was watching at one point or another just turned PC, and I was just like,
yeah.
Yeah, I would say The Flash, mostly CW, like DC stuff. It like it became too much with the PC, but also The Flash just sort of. I didn't get to watch too much of the previous season, so it's just like. But every single one I did, and it just felt like somewhat PC, and got like awkward moments, and like. They also brought back the my mind was like MacGyver. They're doing a new one of it. It just went. Did you just mansplain to him? It's like in the first thing, I'm just like,
gosh.
Oh my gosh! But pretty much they kept it down, but then it came back here and there. So, it's in there, but not. But it just went like.
They don't understand MacGyver because in that new MacGyver show, the friend is MacGyver. Like the friend, the strong guy friend, it's like a bodyguard or whatever. He's MacGyver. I mean, that should have been who you should have had right there. And the other guy should have been a helper or something because you got this strong masculine dude that can handle his own, and he should have been the smart dude that was able to kind of tinker his way out of things. That would make more sense to me.
Yeah. So I've been just.
I didn't.
So I've just been watching reruns of the original run. That's what I seem to be doing. Just keep watching all the older shows now, and it's just like modern stuff anymore. I'm questioning that.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm watching Kolchak, the original, so I'm just like I'm enjoying it. It feels like this is a better detective show, than what's coming on now.
What did you say?
Oh, I said I'm.
Sorry.
I think it was conservative.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I hate. I used to love Gotham, but man, it's just gotten so cringy, man.
It's weird how all the villains are women now, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's
Sure,
weird
the
how that
Riddler,
like
yeah.
what I don't know.
Oh yeah, my mom's used to watch Gotham, and I used to watch Gotham, but it just got like when it became a little bit more convoluted, and I'm just like, before the like most of it, my mom watched it a little bit longer than me because I'm going to college. So I'm like, TV is cut to a minimum, basically background noise almost at best. Like have it on just to have something on.
I used to watch all of the comic TV shows when they came out, of course, because I wanted to give them a try. I like comics, and when all of them started coming out, I quickly dropped some of them. Flash wasn't that good when it first came out. It just wasn't. And then like the second season or so, it was a lot better. And then when Gotham came out, I really gave it a lot of flack because it's not. I mean, it's so different than the continuality that it's good because you don't know what's going to happen. That's good, and it's very original. But at the same time, you're taking something that people already know very well, and then you're altering it to where they can't recognize it, and so it upsets people. And when you take these villains and you start bringing all these major villains in, and the story's not even started, like Batman. See, my understanding of Batman was you had these villains, okay, and then you had Batman show up. Now, these villains that were around were basically gangsters. They weren't anything. They weren't like super villains to me. And then when Batman showed up, then you started getting the super villains showing up because it's like crazy makes crazy. That was my understanding of what Batman was. And so now you've got these villains already showing up. And what's going to happen when Batman comes around? They're all going to be old. Like, I don't get it. I thought they were close to the same age with some of these people. Like, I know Victor Freeze was a little bit older because he was a scientist, but I mean, you're going to have all these people. Like, what is Solomon Grundy doing around already? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
They kind of messed up the whole thing because I stopped after season 1 because mainly it was getting convoluted. But I thought that I started it because it was interesting until they started doing some weird things, like when they killed Maroni in season 1. I was like, oh no, yeah, I can't keep up with this. And then you're bringing in the Court of Owls, which like, what's going on? I thought this was like a good like prequel era where all of his like main villains are coming into like fruition. They had like one of his friends who was Hush in season 1 show up, and I was like, that would be cool to do. Then you also have, the Selena Kyle thing is also working because they're around the same age,
Yeah.
The only thing I really liked about it was Alfred, because he just seemed like the only one written like, okay, this is definitely Alfred. He's Alfred.
It's also the actor because Alfred is cool, but this actor, did you know this guy right here is the same one that had the Transporter TV show for a little while? They did a Transporter TV show based off the movies. He's a really good actor, and I think that he probably improvs a lot of this stuff.
Oh, I can actually think of one good show that's on right now.
What's that?
Happy. It's on Sci-Fi.
Okay.
Like a PC stuff is in it, as far as I can tell, because the hero is a pretty much. It's very dark, even though the name is called Happy. But it's like a old detective who's become a hitman, pretty much, gets a code, and his unknown daughter gets kidnapped. He didn't even know it. And then her imaginary friend finds the dad, and the imaginary friend is a blue flying unicorn with a pink horn. But there's murder, there's cursing in it, and it's just like PC. It doesn't feel PC, and it's like okay, it feels like an anti-hero, but there's no really true good guy here, but then it slowly builds, and I'm like, okay, it got better by episode 4. I just watched a marathon of it, episodes 1 through 4. Comes on every Wednesday.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a really good
But
book.
I didn't really know much about that, so I didn't really give it a try.
I was just
I
bored
knew
and
it was
gave it a
comic book,
try.
but somebody, Dark Philly says she wants to pick up the Happy comics. I don't know. After seeing the previews for a TV show, I don't know if I would want those. But she already watches that crazy. Oh gosh, what's that crazy show on IFC? Stan versus Evil or something like that. So I was like, that's right up. Is it kind of like that?
Oh, you mean Stan against Evil?
Yeah. Is it kind of like that where it's kind of crazy?
Yes, but a lot more closer to real world. You can, if considering what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not demons, nothing like that, no witchcraft. It's just crime, a guy trying to find his daughter, his ex-wife trying to find their daughter.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff in it, and I actually found a few like little stuff and like here and there in the show that it's like, huh. And so I'm pretty sure for those who know the comic book, they might get more out of it than me in the comic book now because of the show.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Berserker just said, I need a Stan and Ash crossover.
Oh, yes. I would
That
like
might be
to
pretty
see
fun.
that.
You guys know who Stan against Evil is?
I call it the Ash versus Evil Dead ripoff, but I like it still.
I heard of it, but I never watched it.
I never did either. They were talking about it one day, and I turned it on there like we were talking, and it was on at the time. I said, okay, I'll go flip over there, and I watched some of it, and I was like, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. But it was almost like, do you guys used to watch Farscape when it was on?
Damn, it's been.
I heard of it, but it was a little bit before I got interested in that stuff.
It had a lot of crazy stuff in it too, like crazy adventures that they had to go on, and so that's what it kind of reminds me of. Is they're always doing something nuts. Something's always happening, and they got to figure out how to deal with it.
I really like Preacher.
You like Preacher?
Yeah, I love it. I love the book.
Preacher.
I thought the book was about as good as the comic's ever been.
I watched the first season, and I was borderline on the Preacher. Okay, I never read the comic because if y'all watch any of my videos, I've always liked superhero books, and so I was never really interested in something like that. And then the show comes on, and I watch it, and I'm borderline because I already know my wife's not going to like it at all. and then when I'm watching it, I have to watch it when she's not around. And then it gets to the last couple of episodes and everybody dies at the end. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. when the town blew up, I was like, oh, okay.
To stay with the books, some cool stuff coming in that though. Because
I like the vampire guy.
Oh, 1 second. Hi, Grandma.
Somebody's saying TV show Lex.
Bye.
What's the TV show Lex?
Oh, it's like old.
Sorry, my grandma called.
Sorry. What Lex?
What was you saying about Lex?
It's like Farscape kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Sci-fi-ish, kind of weird.
Well,
I don't know. It's been a while.
Philly mentioned the booby room, and that's what kind of got my attention. So now she's saying, "Don't bring it up." So I don't know what to do now. You got me in a box. I don't know what to do.
Get in the box, Billy.
I know. You got me in a box. if it was a weird show, I probably didn't watch it. Now that reminds me of another weird show that they had on there. Was it Birds of Prey? They had on there. I can't remember where they had the women and they were like kicking everybody's tail.
Yeah, Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. Yep, that's what it is. I think I like that show. All these shows came on at the same time. They all got canceled. Do you remember that TV show Bite? It was on the
No.
Sci-Fi Channel. It was by or Bitten. Bitten. That's what it was. Bitten on the Sci-Fi Channel about werewolves.
I saw a couple episodes and wasn't my cup of tea.
Man,
Yeah.
I love that show. I don't know. It was the dynamic relationship between the main woman and main girl, or main woman and main guy. But I really liked those two characters, and then I liked the leader of the pack because they had like this whole bureaucracy. You had pack leaders and all that kind of stuff, and it was really, really interesting. They were almost like vampires because they were very organized. Some of them were very what'd you say, fancy, so to speak. You know how vampires always wear nice suits and things like that, and they always have fancy like colonial houses and things. Some of them were like that, and then they would go up against like vampires and witches and things. And it was a very fun show, and then they just canceled it because that's what they do.
Oh, I have a question. What do you think of the Black Lightning show coming out? Or what do you think it'll make it great, and what do you think will ruin it?
I have something I want to say about that Black Lightning show.
Go for it.
All right, so I've read the first 3 issues of Black Lightning, and I don't like how they're just turning. I just don't like how they're giving him the vision of him becoming like this PC warrior. And
Whoa!
What just happened?
Translate into the TV show.
Yeah, I think everything that's happening in the comic book right now will translate to the TV show, and if that happens, then I am not going to watch it. I'll probably watch the first episode just to get a good feel for it, and if it's anything like the comic book, I'm just going to drop it immediately.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really interested in it. Go ahead, Master.
Yeah, well, let's see. So, I too have been reading the Black Lightning comics. I've not been impressed with it, even though this 3rd issue finally seems to be moving somewhere, which I'm at least happy about. But one thing I think that'll help this show is that it's not connected to the Arrowverse, which I think will be very good. Like, because people are talking about the last crossover where everybody was it wasn't as good as like the first crossover, where like everybody with their alternate pasts and everybody was either cliche evil or just gay or whatever. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I just think that I think Black Lightning not being part of that universe will give it its own feel and taste. I think the suit kind of is a little bit too bulky for me, but I'm going to check it out. And Unranked Chevron is talking about Smallville. Smallville is definitely underrated as you look back in time, and they should have used Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor in the movies. I'm going to stick by that.
It was ahead of its time, I think.
It was the biggest rabbit hole.
I liked it a lot, and I think it was ahead of its time. And somebody said, "You're not into Black Lightning." That's racist. Well, I'll tell you right now. When I saw his suit in the commercial, that's what made me not interested. But I do realize it is a season 1 suit, so you got to realize that they're going to make alterations. They're going to fix some of the stuff. Like Flash had his season 1 suit. Now he's got a lot better suit. But I'm just not. I don't know. I'm just not that interested.
I'm just
I would have been
burnt
more
out.
interested in Black Lightning if he had his 80s suit, like his 1980s look. I would have loved that.
Yeah, I'm just burnt out on the CW superhero show. Just burnt out.
Yeah.
I can see
I
that.
just feel like I'm actually interested in the Constantine stuff that's going to be coming up, but that's on the app. I actually did like the show Constantine.
I love that show.
Constantine was a very good show. It was canceled way before its time, and
I agree.
you would think that the CW would pick that up, but
I think they're
All we
spread
got
too
was a
thin right now.
crossover.
I don't know if they can pick
Arrow.
up another one. 'Cause
Yeah,
they got 4 shows right now. I mean, I don't know if they can really. Do they want to try to handle another one?
probably not.
Because
I think-
Oh, go ahead.
I think what's hurting most of these superhero shows is that once they come out on television, on a certain night at a certain time, not a lot of people are going to be tuning into it, repeatedly if they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over, the same tropes, same PC stuff. And they're just going to wait till it comes out on Netflix, honestly. Just watch the whole thing if they really want to, whenever they want.
Uh-huh.
And if the same pace keeps happening over and over again, I don't think they're going to keep investing money on these shows if people are not going to watch it on their channel. And so I think sooner or later it's going to start hurting them. They're going to start cutting back.
Yeah, you don't want to get spread too thin. A lot of companies do that, and it's not smart.
No, they make too many of them. That's what's killing them. There's so many of these superhero shows and so many superhero movies. It's just the bubble's gonna burst.
But I actually like trying to find the ones that are different, like Lucifer, Preacher, and Happy. Those are examples of ones that are different. And Constantine was different from all this. That they don't want to go with that because, those were less well-known books and less well-known characters. Because I didn't know Lucifer was a DC Vertigo at all until I
They
saw
don't
the show.
play it like that at all.
Like,
They don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
They act like it's something totally different. And I had
I'm enjoying the different ones.
by their advertising, I had no idea that it was DC like Vertigo tie-in because they didn't advertise it that way. And then I was like, I'm not gonna watch a show called Lucifer. I mean, what the crap? But then they started advertising it as later on they started advertising at the same time as these other shows, and they're like, hey, that the DC blah 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 tie-in Lucifer, and I was like, what? Oh yeah. And then but you were talking about Constantine earlier, and people was talking about Constantine in the comments there. I really liked Constantine. I liked it as a show. I loved the movie. And when that movie came out, I didn't even really know that that's what they were going for was the comic book character. I just knew that I really liked whatever this was. And then later on, I started reading more about Constantine and everything, more about the character. But then the TV show came out, and I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is Constantine. And they had that friend that couldn't die. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just canceled the show, and I was like, I mean, I saw him. I met the actor at a con, and like there was nobody waiting in line to talk to him.
Oh, that sucks, man.
That's sad.
And I walked right up to him, and I was like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, hey, we sit there and talk. He was really, really nice, and he's really short, by the way.
Okay, that's true.
But we were sitting there talking. I was like, hey, so I'll let you know, I really like your show, and I really hope that somebody else picks it up. He's like, well, that's the plan, and all that. And we were sitting there talking about it, and I was like, nobody's going to pick it up because if they've already shot it out to Netflix and they didn't get it, and they've already shot it out to CW and they didn't get it, either they're waiting for something else, or they just don't care enough about it because they're they've already got 4 shows.
Yeah,
it's business. It's not about what you like. It's business.
Yeah. You know what I think will happen is that once Marvel starts their stream service, once they got their own like personal stream service and they start pulling out the shows from Netflix of superheroes.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen. I think they may take a look at that Constantine
Well, no. See, here's Disney's problem. Here's Disney's problem, and I think this is why I'm skeptical now of their streaming service. I think that if Star Wars: The Last Jedi wasn't so divisive, then people would be like, okay, yeah, maybe we'll check it out. But now that they've seen that, with The Last Jedi, it's like, oh, this is what Disney's going to support? This is Disney stuff? No.
I haven't seen The Last Jedi yet.
It's... Look.
Don't waste your money.
It's
terrible. I've been hearing everyone saying it was bad from all you guys, and I'm like, it's not worth doing the money to them. Maybe if it goes to the dollar theater, and I'll watch it then there, just to see how bad it is. And I would go on a Tuesday, which was actually going to be only 52 cents per ticket.
The only thing I will say the Star Wars movie, every question. Like, I want to say about 95% of the questions you had from the first movie, if you thought they were going to be answered in the second one, don't even think about it.
Never were. And it's really sad because, like, nothing was added to the lore of Star Wars. Like, it just threw everything out. And I was like, seriously? Like, nothing was answered. Nothing intrigued me. Characters were ruined. You couldn't. It was just like terrible, just terrible.
Speaking of things that are not terrible, Robert Downey Jr. just Instagrammed a photo of the date of the Infinity War movie, May 4th, 2018. So very excited about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is the end? I mean, how are they going to top Infinity War? Once it's over, what are they going to do to top it?
They're going to have American Kaju. He's going to show up, and they're going to have a movie with him.
It does beg the question. Like, I think that after Infinity War, like, I don't know where it could go unless, luckily now they have. Well, let me not say luckily because I don't even know what they're going to do with it. But with the X-Men, if they decide to say, "Oh, let's do an X-Men versus Avengers movie" or something like that, I don't know. But I think they're done after Infinity War. Like, nobody's going to watch Marvel. Nobody.
Well,
yeah.
They need to go ahead and do it and get out. I mean,
the Skrull invasion by Savage Berserker. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, but nobody has done the Skrulls in a movie yet. So, and I wasn't really, even though I liked the first Guardian movie, I wasn't really impressed with like how they left out the Kree. So I'm not sure. Only like Ronan was there, but the Kree were not existent in that movie.
They're gonna have the Skrulls in the Captain Marvel movie.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be a
because the Skrulls are part of her origin, like
how she got her powers and everything.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But when I think Skrulls, I really do think a lot of with the Fantastic Four, because I used to watch the Fantastic Four TV show, and I'm pretty sure there was a few of them that always appeared with the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Disney's getting that, so I don't think so. They'll probably try to bring those in, the Fantastic Four in as well with the X-Men and everything.
Yeah, I just wonder how these movies are going. Like, they're blowing the bubble. There's too many of them. At some point, we're just gonna get sick of them.
Somebody said America Chavez the movie. I love comics.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Stop it right now!
You stop that. You kept a 10 in the corner.
Bring on the champion, says I love comics.
Oh
man, get Mark Wade. We'll start consulting right now. Dan's gonna come in, and he's just gonna go down in the background and be like, "What's up, guys?" And he'll just fall in his beanbag chair and leave.
Hey, Underground, I got a very good topic.
I'm good.
Do you think She-Hulk, now that it's canceled, do you think Dan Slott might be put back on a She-Hulk series?
Yeah, there's always a possibility of something like that. I think that kind of was a rumor that got started, but I mean, there's always a possibility that could happen. Now, the main thing that's going to need to happen is you're going to have a better artist, and you're going to have to not do what you did with her. Now, there was one issue of She-Hulk that I liked. There was one issue. I don't know if you remember this. I talked about this before, but it was the issue where it was almost like a Japanese style, and they drew her like some kind of ghoul or creature or something, and she was like running around on all fours, and it was pretty crazy looking, and I like that because it made her transformation seem like something was actually wrong, like it affected her brain or something, and she was some kind of monster, as opposed to being, hey, I'm She-Hulk. I'm not green anymore. I'm gray, but I have 6 spots, and I'm like here to do stuff and hit things, and then as soon as I hit you, we're gonna cut to the next scene. The end. You know, that's just what it was every issue now. Like there's no action at all. So if they would go to something crazy with the new series, have a good artist, an artist makes a comic book. A lot of people can say, you know, the story is the most important thing. If you've got good art, some people will look over a so-so story. Now, if it's a bad story, it's a bad story. But some people look over a so-so story if you've got good art. And I think Marvel's forgot this. They're just like, let's hire these cheap artists. So I think it would be okay if Dan Slott got She-Hulk, because at least it wouldn't be Spider-Man, and maybe he could get out of his whatever this psychosis that he's in, and maybe do something good. You know.
Yeah, actually, I was talking with someone earlier today too. You know what? Forget it. I just forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
That's it.
Bring it forward.
So you guys a while ago was talking about what kind of comics y'all like. Somebody earlier said we have to talk about the best comic of all time, and that was the new Transformers book that has come out.
Oh, God damn it.
How do you do this to us?
Has anybody read that? I hadn't had a chance to read it. Like somebody sent me the link, and I think I have it still pulled up to read it, but I haven't because I can't
I
make
watched
myself.
2 videos on it. I watched 2 videos.
I haven't read it. I don't plan on reading it because I don't want to read it.
Oh, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it because I'm gonna roast it if it's gonna be harsh. But after reading the Twitter comments today by Mags, I think I'm gonna try to go into this, you know, and really look at this as, is it a good book or not? You know, and just read it like a regular comic book. Try not to have any kind of, you know, sourness towards this thing that writes it, and see if it's a good book or not. Now, I may end up reading it and be like everybody else, and be like, this is garbage. But, you know, we'll just have to see. Hey, somebody said they picked up that that DC Mike Mignola book that I just got. That's cool. That's a good book. I just got mine in yesterday, and I was flipping through it. There's a lot of stories in that book. I got the hardcover, you know, the Mike Mignola DC Universe.
Oh man, yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah.
There's a lot of stories in that. I thought it was like, you know, one big story, but it's like 10 or so different stories, like the New Gods and Superman and Batman and things like that in there, drawn in his style and written in his style. So it's gonna be fun. But the Transformers book, I think I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna give it a fair shot, like I try to do with every one of them. And if it is rough, then it's going to the garbage. Somebody said
really
the book is effed up.
Yeah.
I really like that Astonishing X-Men. Did anybody read that?
Astonishing.
Astonishing X-Men. Yeah, I like that series.
Yeah, I've been reading it. I got to do a review on it, but yeah, it's like the only X-Men book out there. And funny enough, with the X-Men, I got to read the new issue, this new Rogue and Gambit, which surprised me pleasantly. It was like, you really wrote these two like how they should be written, and they looked fine. Like Rogue looked very beautiful. Gambit looked like Gambit. Gambit looking all types of badass. My favorite
They need to
X-Men.
get rid of. They need to get rid of Rogue's costume.
Well, that costume, true. I mean, the new one, yeah, that's not really a. There was a time I didn't know that was Rogue because I was like,
Yes.
Okay.
You can't change somebody's costume that much. I mean, you've got
Oh.
her. I understand what they're going for, because they're trying to make something so that you know by looking at her that she can't touch you. You know, basically her whole head or whole body is covered, and she has a hood. But she doesn't have some kind of disease. I mean, you don't have to make it look like she's wearing a hazmat suit. You know what I mean? It's like she looks like some kind of sideshow Power Ranger or something. I mean, it's really weird. I don't know who come up with this costume, but we need to go back to something different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought that was probably Kelly Thompson's best written book she's ever written.
Probably.
yeah.
So what do you guys think of Phoenix Resurrection 2? I read it. The art is a little bit better, but still like great. I just think
Well,
it's
it's
better.
Marvel. I mean, are you trying to read Marvel for good art or something? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I know, but
It needs more
issue
G.
ended at the first issue ended at a cliffhanger of Scott, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to go something with this. No, it goes nowhere, and I'm like, that goes nowhere. For us, by the second issue, that does nothing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm understanding more of the story because of the second issue. But I'm like, this could have been done better. I'm always thinking that. I'm like, I can see what they're trying to do, but I'm like, it could be done better. It could be done better. It could be done
Well,
better.
that's like everything at Marvel right now, though. It could be done better.
I think the problem with Phoenix Resurrection is like the X-Men should not have appeared in this run until like issue 3. Like the first 2 issues should have been focusing on Jean Grey and her issues and everything like that, because in the first issue you don't see Jean Grey until the very end of the book, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that the issue 2 is kind of like it's inconsistent. Like we didn't need to see the X-Men. Yeah,
I agree.
They wasted half the book on that, and then they had multiple teams show up, and it's really cute. Somebody's got a question. They said, I don't understand the question. I may not be reading it right, but it says, I have a question. On Twitter, are all blocks belong to Marvel employees?
Like all your I know where this is going. I know where
Most of the ones that have me blocked are Marvel. Yes. There's an echo. Who's
I have headphones in.
It's not me.
Not me.
Getting some kind of feedback here. I think maybe it'll quit. Yeah, it's not doing it anymore. That's weird. But as far as I know, yeah, it's pretty much all them.
Yep. Ramon American Chavez's artist had me blocked, and I've never ever interacted with this man ever. So I'm confused.
So as Berserker says, all your blocks belong to Dan Slott. Yeah, I mean that seems to be the way it is. I mean, I don't know anybody that's got me blocked right now besides that weirdo with the fudge popsicle. That doesn't work for Marvel in some kind of capacity, and it's got to be this behavior that they're letting go on. And what it is I think that CB Cebulski is trying to stop it, but at the same time, I think that he can't keep up with all this right now. You know what I mean? Like he's got a lot he's got to worry about. He can't be watching these people on social media all the time. He can tell them to do stuff when he goes back to work. And if they don't do it, then of course he's going to have to find out about it, and then he's going to have to go deal with them. And I work a job like that. I understand having to deal with personnel. And they said, okay, here it is. It says 2018 is going to be an interesting year. Your Twitter is great. Oh well, thank you, Elijah.
There's one thing I want to add to that, Geek. He went back to China not too long ago. CB Spolsky did. And once he left back to China, most of the people that we usually have Twitter beef with started dying down just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't really hear a lot of people like once Mark Wade left Twitter, you know, it was all quiet. You know, it's getting really quiet. And then the Scott Snyder tweet that came out today where, you know, people he private PMs people and asked them for feedback, you know, and all this criticism and stuff. You know, we were talking about it earlier with Max and how, you know, we were criticizing one of her comics and she wasn't getting all up in arms. She wasn't getting all, you know, angry. She was actually like trying to talk.
Yeah.
Say, like,
That's clearly Snyder.
yeah,
Right there.
you know, and the thing is, like, you know, lead by example. You know, most of these, like, once CB Cebulski left, most of the people that started drama started dying down. Snyder came out, and then now it's all just quiet.
Immediately, did you notice immediately when CB got in the house, Dan Slott went silent?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody says, I was meaning to ask you, but I know you used in stock trades. I was wondering if everything on there was sold used because I wanted to start using this. No, in stock trade sells new stuff. They sell new and damaged stuff. And if you can get the damaged books on there, get them, because when they say damaged, they mean it's got a dent in the cover or something. Like the slightest of creases in the cover, they will mark it as damaged and it'll be half off. So you can get a lot of these comic book trades for like $6 when they're normally 12. So that's how I got that Venom Lethal Protector. It was like $6 or $7 because it's damaged, and it got here and it's in perfect condition. So yeah, definitely get on in-stock trades. But yeah, this behavior that they're doing right now, it has died down a lot, and it's definitely got something to do with CB Cebulski. But you know, how much can you watch these people? How much can you dictate what they do? If I was him, I think I would have took a little bit different route. Like, you know, you always say, "Well, I would have done stuff differently." I think I would have told these people, "You're done." Like I would have said, "Look, we're going to have a month period where you're not going to get on your Twitter, period. And then after that, we're going to start promoting things. And every time that our Twitter promotes something, and it's your book, or if even if it's not your book, I want you to retweet it. I want you to comment. I want you to post something about it. And we're going to train you about how to do promotions. This is going to be a new learning experience for everybody. Get used to it." And then I would have went outside. Then I would have ate another honey bun because I'm CB Cebulski.
Your boy.
But yeah, I mean, you've got to retrain these people. You've got to train the bad behavior out of them, and they don't get it because they've been allowed to do it for so long. Axel Alonso is just like silent on Twitter, and now you've got this guy and he's trying to untrain bad behavior, and it's hard to do that in a 50-year-old man. I mean, you got people like Mark Wade and people like Dan Slott. How do you tell them not to do things at this point? I mean, they're grown men. They're man children, but they're grown men. Like, how do you tell them, hey, don't be getting on Twitter and posting? I mean, they may still just do it. I mean, and they got contracts. I mean, do you go in there and just fire them over that?
If they break the contract, or if they have a certain termination clause, like there's termination to meet what they promise, and there's also termination by any party if so choose, whenever they want to. I have to read their contracts to know.
Nobody even talks about the new Marvel event that's supposed to be coming out here soon. I haven't heard anything about
Marvel's
it.
got an event? I didn't know they did events.
I didn't even know that they were doing this at all. This is my first knowledge of it.
Exactly.
What's the new event called? This event that Marvel's not talking about?
Man, don't even ask me because I don't even know. Honestly, they're supposed to bring some kind of like character from the past, saying that she was always there, she wasn't there, whatever. I don't know, man.
Oh, that's
that might be Jean.
I think it's the Avengers one where the Avengers titles has all these bunch of like the Uncanny Avengers, USA Avengers, and then Champion well, not champions, another Avengers. I don't know, Occupy Avengers. They're like all bringing them back together for this showdown. I don't know against what, but
These massive events need to stop.
yeah.
I can't handle it anymore. They've got too much going on, and I can't. Like you get event, you really do get event tired because if you've got these constant huge events where you got 50 people fighting at the same time, you do get a little tired. You get a little exhausted because you don't. I mean, you're just constantly saying these huge fights and these huge events and all these tie-ins, and there's 30 books you got to read, and you can't get caught up and blah blah blah. And it's like, what do you do? You're going to just start dropping some books. You're like, I can't handle this. It gets exhausting. You feel like you're fighting too. So when they do this event, I understand when these people are complaining. Like, I mean, good God, just do some separate books for a little while.
Yeah. Meanwhile, DC's event is coming to a close because Metal 5 comes out this month, and then the last issue of Metal comes out next month.
Oh, okay.
That and Doomsday Clock, which is considered an event, but it's been it's been in the works, for what, 2 years now, give or take.
Yeah, and there's only a couple of more issues of that left. Really, there are like 10 more issues, so DC is okay with its. That's right.
Somebody said Avengers join Antifa.
Oh no,
Antifa Avengers. They're all going to stand around and complain. So there's another question here. It says, are writers like Gabby being fired due to comic book cancellations, or are they being put on other series? Well, you can't really answer that question because the books are getting canceled because of sales. That's what it's coming down to. CB's coming in there and he's saying, look, your book's selling 8,000 copies. Stop. And
hold up. Is he really fired though?
Well, see, I don't think they're fired. I think they've got contracts. I think that he's probably going to find them something else to do, if they've got a contract left. And then if that don't work, then he might get rid of them after the contract's up.
I have something I want to say. There's something I've been wanting. There's a video I've been wanting to do, and it was supposed to be about how I think the new writers that are being hired at Marvel, they're young, right? And so they need to have like an active. They should have an active imagination, being as young as they are.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best writers right now are in their 50s, 60s. You have some good writers coming up, but most of the ones that they've hired, it feels like whenever they're writing a book, they have no imagination whatsoever.
Well, you made a very good point when you said that. Like, I think you kind of, you answered your own question, so to speak, on that, because you said that the good writers are 50 to 60 years old right now.
Yeah.
And the younger writers don't have an imagination. It's the generation. This generation doesn't have an imagination because they don't have anything. Everything's at their fingertips. They don't have to think about something. They don't have to wonder about anything. It's there. They have a screen in front of their face 24/7 that shows them booty pictures of the latest Instagram model. Like, they don't have anything to want.
They don't have to think about anything. They just type it up on the computer. They just type up something, look at the daily stuff, and they find a topic, they find something, and I can make a story out of this, and then they do it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't use their imagination, they don't use their brain.
It's affected me because when I was younger, I had a very active imagination. I have so many stories put up, just like 50-page stories where I wrote these things. You know that movie 28 Days Later?
Yes.
Based on the book?
Yeah.
I had no idea about the comic book. Well, I wrote a story like a couple months before they announced the movie called Rage. And it was basically where people had a rage virus and was running around attacking everybody. Then you had survivors. And then 28 days later come out and I was like, you're watching me. It's the NSA. So I was writing stories like that all the time. And then as I've gotten older, you do have this new technology because I'm technically a millennial. I mean, I'm still in that generation. The Generation Z is the ones that may be the saviors as they're coming up, because like I'm saying like 20 years old or younger, because they're starting to go more conservative. And now they still have the technology problems. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm on my computer and my phone a lot, and it does kind of screw with your imagination, because it's literally like taking all of your focus.
Yes.
So you don't
Yeah.
have time to think about anything.
There's something I want to say on this, because comics that is imagination. Like, you can have an unlimited budget with comics. You don't have to worry about a budget or anything. You can tell a story with an unlimited imagination, and it feels like it's dead in comics.
It does, yeah. And you can tell it's dead, because as they're writing these books, what are they doing? All these new books that are coming out are return characters from old stories.
Yeah.
So they're recycling the old stories and just bringing them back over and over and over in these books. And it all makes sense now as I'm saying it. I'm thinking, man, it does. This all makes sense. Like, they're just recycling these characters because, like you said, they don't have the imagination.
They don't.
And they
Like-
don't even know the characters. They just know the name. They're just like, we're going to put arcade in all these books.
You know, like Sean Gordon Murphy on the Batman the White Knight comic has found a happy medium. He's taking politics of today, putting it on paper, but he's also given it the spin twist of an imagination with his writing. So you can find a happy medium between the two, you know, but it's the newer writers, the younger writers, they don't know how to put that, you know, that focus to put, you know, their politics or whatever into an imaginative story. And that's why I think they're failing.
Donna makes a suggestion here. She says, you know, go hiking, go outside. You know, any kind of noise, any kind of thing you make may bring up some imagination. You know, you may start thinking about things again. I'll go ahead and tell you, I went hiking a while back. We went to the Smoky Mountains, and my wife was like, "Hey, we need to go hiking. That'll be fun." I was like, "Yeah, we'll go hiking." So we're going. We're driving up the side of the hill there, and there's a couple of spots where you get out and go hiking. We're like, no, everybody's going to that one. We're going to go to another one. So we're driving. We go further up. There's another spot, and there's a lot of people there. It's like, no, that's not it. We're going to go to one. We're going to be super cool. So we go to this other hike area, and there's nobody really there. So it's like, yeah, this will be the one. We're going to go hiking on this one. So we go out there, and we're walking around, and it's kind of far. Like, I'm walking, I'm like, we haven't got to the end yet. Where is, like, we've been walking for like 30 minutes now. Where's the end? And so it was like, I think it was 2 miles one way or something, which if you go hiking, that's not that far if you're hiking all the time. But I don't go hiking. And we go hiking, and we turn around and come back because we finally get to the end. I didn't think about it, but we had been walking downhill the entire way. So when you walk downhill and turn around and go back, what do you got to do? You got to walk uphill. So then we're walking uphill for 2 flipping miles in the cold. And I'm not very much, I don't do cardio. And by the time we got done, I was in like a quarter mile of being done, and I was just silent. I was not talking. And my wife was like, "Are you okay? You doing good?" I was like, "Don't talk to me." So we got to the end. I got into the car and we left. So that's all the hiking that I do. Do you guys go hiking?
Not as much as I should.
Yeah, I need to hike more. I'm just stuck on campus nonstop, and I'm just stuck reading books nonstop, looking stuff online to do homework, and it's just so boring.
Donna said, or they're making fun of Donna now for her hiking thing, and they're saying like, you know, she's, you know, go walk around and spark your imagination. They're like, yeah, Donna's going out there and tripping on acid. That reminds me. Do you guys know who that Vegan Gains guy is?
Oh, I heard of him.
You remember when he went hiking and was eating the mushrooms and was like tripping out? That's what it reminded me of.
Oh my gosh.
He started tripping. He's like, man, it opens up all your horizons, man. It's making you start seeing everything, see the universe. I hate that Vegan Gains guy though. Like he is a straight up psychopath. So I don't know if you guys watch him, but look him up. He's called Vegan Gains, and he has all of these videos where he's like threatening to kill other YouTubers, and
Oh wow.
it's crazy. I don't know how he stays on there because he's literally got a picture of him with a knife, acting like he's cutting his own throat, saying, "Vegan Gains versus so and so Gains video." And I'm like, how do you get away with this? I was like, oh, you're vegan. That's why.
I got when I was in a rock band, the drummer one time came up to me with one of those little like breath freshener squeezers, and he's like, "Stick out your tongue." So I did, and then he's just like, "Whoa, you just took his more liquid acid than I've ever seen anybody do before." Needless to say, by the time we hit the stage, I puked all over myself.
Oh god.
Oh god.
It was
At least you puked though. That was probably good to get some of that out of your stomach.
Oh, God. Horrible.
I have a question by March Hare. What is everyone reading now?
I just read Imaginary Fiends issue 2 before I left work. I was gonna read the last New Order, Nightwing the New Order issue, and I didn't have time, so I had to leave.
I just finished reading Batman and the Signal,
I gotta
and
read that.
yeah, I am gonna do a review on it. And for it being, a Batman, well, a new Batman, whatever, it's not bad, but it could be better. So I'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
worst metal story.
I
Oh, I thought that was the worst metal
issue
story.
2, Phoenix Resurrection 2, and an annual issue 2.
That one's
I'm reading a lot of second issues.
Batman Annual issue or number 2 is one of those stories that hits you really close to home. If you're at that point in your life, relationship wise with people, it's gonna affect you a little bit more because you relate to it. Some people read it like cough cough DNC and thought it was stupid. And I was like, well, I mean, it makes sense. You're not in a relationship. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm not in a relationship right now, so it might not hit me as hard, but I do like relationship stories. Like, there are some that almost get me to cry. It's very hard to get me to cry in these and this stuff. And things that I've actually never truly experienced it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I understand that pain and loss because grandpa passed away, and I'm like, and it hit really hard. It's like, and so whenever there's something like a funeral scene of a character I'm close to, that would still hit me.
Mm-hmm.
So something like that. So I've experienced a loss, and then it's like I'll get close to a character, and then when they die off or get killed off, it hurts.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Batman in just a second, but I want to talk about what Guatzilla just posted. He was like, you need to read Invincible. I'm not reading Invincible because DMI already ruined it for me because he said there's a rape scene in one of the issues, and I'm not into that, so I'm not going to be reading that line. But I did a video on what I called Soy Batman because DNC had kind of coined that. A lot of people don't like this Batman run, and I'm like, guys, it's been like 4 issues. I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 issues of them actually in a relationship. It's not that big of a deal. There's 4 or 5 other Batman stories right now, and all of them are in the top 10 comics. You can read all of them to get the Batman that you want. This story right here is one arc. It's one arc. It's not like they've had 10 events where Batman and Catwoman are just sitting around in the living room talking about the 6 o'clock news or something. it's this is actually kind of interesting to me because this Catwoman don't play no games, and this is like the real Catwoman. But she's changed, and he's changed too. I mean, they're getting older. They're at that point in their life where they're like, we might need to stop messing around, because when you get in a certain point in your life, a switch flips, and your brain starts thinking differently. And Batman's thinking, I may be a paraplegic in another 10 years or so. Maybe I need to go ahead and find me somebody. Oh, look, there's Catwoman. It's been hanging around with me for the past 70 years. Maybe I need to go talk to her. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like, it's not really Spider-Man and MJ to me, but it's a pretty iconic couple. And I know that she's always getting the best of him, always tricking him, but isn't that kind of the fun of it? I mean, she's Catwoman. She's always getting into something. She always catches him off guard.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of people think that just because they're going to put them together as a couple, that it's going to ruin Batman or it's going to make Batman less fun. No. They could still have their own, adventures. They could have their own each individual adventures. They don't have to be together, all the time. It's just like Superman, he's with the family, but he has a son and he does his own thing. He has his own series, and Superman has his own series, They come together every now and then, but they mostly do stuff apart. You can have that. You can have that that thing going. You can have that relationship going on. It's not going to affect them, individually. It's not going to affect the comic book itself. And people understand that.
Somebody said they picked up Batman because my recommendation. Thanks. It's like you're saying. People don't really understand. People that don't like it, that's fine. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't like Preacher. I mean, that's fine. It doesn't mean they need to stop making Preacher just because I don't like it. Somebody likes it because Batman's been in the top 10. I mean, that's the most important thing. But this story is really fun to me because Joel Jones, which by the way is a cutie. Have y'all seen Joel Jones?
Your boy.
I think I sent it in the group chat. It popped up like I was looking up some of her artwork, and then it showed her, and I was like, wait a second, she does not look like the other women artists of like Marvel or something. She looks like a normal girl, and she drew. What issue was that? What issue was the Nightmare Batman that we had? Was it like 38 or something? 35? It's 34. 34. That's what it was, and. She drew the Batman Catwoman in their like desert combat outfits when they were going to see Talia, and did like one or two issues of that. I love that. That was the best part. That artwork. I mean, she drew Batman flipping awesome in that Nightmare costume. She drew Catwoman flipping awesome in like that body armor vest with no shirt, and then the Catwoman ears with the goggles. I mean, that was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah.
And then
anybody read the one that came out Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
That was awesome. Best
it
single
was.
in a long time.
It was it had like that type of I guess thriller aspect of it. Like it was definitely an interesting issue. I was
It was
impressed.
creepy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt like he was being a detective in this issue.
It was back to Tom King had just said that. I follow him on Twitter because he's one of the only people that don't block me. And he was saying, hey, next issue is going to be a detective story. We're going to get back to detective stories. I said, okay, cool. Because you can't do that very long. Like you can do the Batcat stuff, but if you do it for 10 issues, it's going to get old, just like anything. So do it for 4 or 5 issues, and then we'll move on to the next arc. I mean, she was in this issue, so clearly they're still dating, or they're still together getting married. But this issue was really cool because you got back to the detective stuff, and he's constantly thinking about who could this be? And when they started breaking down the codes and everything, it blew my mind. I was like, this is Batman right here. I mean, it doesn't make sense. There's no way he would have been able to do that, but he's flipping Batman, and this makes sense.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You can have that. You can have them be together. You can still have a good story.
Somebody said Damien told Batman, so you finally upgraded from side chick to wife. That's funny. I like that. Do you guys remember that part in issue 34 where Damien is talking to Dick about the whole deal.
Yeah, I remember that. I think, deep down, I don't think Damien wanted Bruce to marry Selena at all.
No.
Because he thought that was a betrayal to, I guess, to him and his mother. So,
But
but
it's almost a
apparently,
betrayal to what they stand for, because he has bought into this. Damien has. He's bought into what his dad is selling. He was a assassin, and his dad took him and said, "Hey, that's not how you do things. I'm going to raise you differently." And he's fought him tooth and nail, but now he's finally bought into it. And then now Dad's going to marry a villain. It's like, thanks, Dad, for screwing me over. I could have been an assassin, and now you're over here marrying supervillains. But then he talks to Dick, and Dick explains it to him like a big brother does. And then what does he say to Batman when he shows up? He says, "Are you happy?" He says, "I'm getting there." It was very much like a father-son. Tom King can really write organic relationships. Now, he is a little bit too much into the submissive type stuff, but he's really good at writing relationships that are organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love, marry, kill.
Love, marry, kill. Yeah. Hey, we're talking about too much soft stuff. We're talking about too much silly romantic stuff. We need to talk about some misogyny.
Get it.
Everybody need to wake up. Wake your T cells up. I made this joke earlier. I was like, "Yeah, my superpower is I can hide my my T levels from the stars, officers." Let's see. You like that? So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do our love, marry, kill. I know everybody's waiting on our love, marry, kill. So basically, for everybody in the chat that doesn't know what I'm talking about, every week I do this live chat and I do a love, marry, kill, and I'm gonna pick 3 female people, and we're gonna do love, marry, kill, pick one each of them, and then we're going to go around the room and everybody's gonna do their little deal. So I've got 3 of them right now, and I think every one of you guys are going to know who these people are, because they were very prevalent in the 90s. These are girls of the 90s, and so I think you're going to like them. So we have, for this week's Love, Marry, Kill, 3 beautiful women, and we're going to start with Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. We're going to do Aspen Matthews, Fathom. And we're going to do Sarah Pazzini, Witchblade. I already blow Judy's mind. He's like, I don't know. Do y'all know who Fathom is?
No, not that one, but I do know the other 2.
All right. So if you know 2 out of 3, I guess that's fine. Fathom was the one that had all the water abilities. But yeah. So does everybody understand the rules?
Yep.
yeah.
Everybody got it? Let's see, that guy. I love Berserker. He's so crazy. He's gonna go to a mental institution. But he says, love Dark Philly, marry Dark Philly, kill my Wafu's enemies. He's a psycho. I love it. So
I'll start.
Go ahead and start.
All right. So I would love Fathom.
Okay.
I would marry Lara Croft, and I would kill Witchblade.
Are you serious right now?
I am dead serious.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Are you serious right now?
I'm being super serial right now.
I feel like you just shot my Wafu in the heart.
I knew I was gonna get your attention, but yeah. The reason being is because even though I love Witchblade and it was close between her and Fathom, I don't want to have like some murderous evil intent if I pissed her off enough, to like strangle me with like some.
Well, I understand. I mean, Laura's got money. I mean, if that's what you're into.
Hey, your boy, man. I didn't hook me up.
Donna said, "Why not Buffy?" Donna, I mean, I understand that I'll never make you happy. Okay, I understand that I'll never be good enough for you. Okay,
Never.
I'm just gonna have to live with that for the rest of my life. So anyway, who's next?
Okay, I'll go up next. I got it.
Okay, you got it. You got it.
All right. So basically, I'm just seeing like I would definitely marry Fathom, love Laura Croft, but yeah, kill Witchblade because man, Witchblade. The last thing I need is something like some type of weirdness killing me in some weird, odd way. No, you're too close to the darkness. You're gonna like just murder me in my sleep. So
Well, somebody made a good point. Laura is pro gun, so that's another pro.
Oh yeah.
She's pro gun. How about that? Okay, so strike number 2. Who's next?
I guess I can go here. I would probably bang Laura Croft, marry Fathom, because hey, I can sell her on the circus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd kill Witchblade because she can kill me.
Y'all all act like Witchblade's this evil person. She's misunderstood.
Misunderstood. Bro, she's a murderer.
Well, don't do nothing wrong. I mean, that's all you gotta do. Don't be doing wrong stuff.
You wash the dishes? No. Dead.
Dead. Fatality. It's gonna be just like Mortal Kombat X, and she's gonna like rip your head and spine out of your body.
Yes.
Who's next?
I'll go next. I would marry Laura Croft because pro gun. She's rich and beautiful and adventurer.
Okay.
Love Witchblade.
oh,
I don't know who Fathom is. I'm sorry. That's one of the
So you gotta kill her by default.
I'm sorry. I just don't know who Fathom is. I was born in '93, so some of this is a little bit before
She
my
wasn't
time.
that popular of a character. Out of the 3, she was probably the least popular.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't know her. It's like Laura Croft, iconic character. Witchblade has had, is a well-known character or gets talked about a lot. But I've never heard anything about Fathom, which sort of I'm sorry.
You might need to look her up. It might be interesting.
Yeah.
Does she still have comics now?
I don't think she still has them now, but she had a pretty good bit of them. And
they're not reprinting them, but they got a new Fathom book out right now.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
Oh.
Okay.
So
they also have a new Witchblade book out, and I don't know about this new Witchblade book. I read it, and I don't get it. I mean, somebody was like, "Oh, I hate this new Witchblade," blah blah, and I was like, "I don't even know if Witchblade was in that book." Like that's how messed up this book was. I mean, you didn't see Witchblade because Witchblade is the outfit. To me, it's kind of like if you was to have Batman without the costume. It doesn't make sense. So she was like fighting some bad guy with some kind of powers, and then it just ends, and I'm like, "Where's the suit? Is she Witchblade or is she not?" You're not making sense to me right now. But who's next?
You are.
Oh, I'm the last one already?
Master Judy?
Judy's already went.
Yeah, he went.
Yeah.
Somebody said the new Witchblade is boring and made by feminists. Yeah, I read up on the writer. I was talking to Dr. Philly about the writer, and she showed me a lot of like really cringe interviews with that writer of the new Witchblade, and I was like, oh god. I mean, she had the mental illness haircut and everything. So I mean, it's pretty rough time. So I don't know. I'm going to read issue 2, and if issue 2 is not better, then I'll just drop it because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'll just watch the Witchblade anime. It was better than the books.
Make these harder, man. You need to make these harder.
You need to make these harder. I thought we were going to be happy. I mean, what's it going to take to make y'all happy? You dang millennials.
The millennials. You're a millennial too. Hush your mouth.
Hush your mouth. So you probably already know what I'm going to pick. I'm going to go ahead and kill Fathom. I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm gonna marry Laura. I'm gonna love Witchblade. How about that?
That makes sense.
Because I'm still gonna be with Sarah. We're gonna figure this out. But
Ah,
at the end of the day, we're gonna have to go home to Laura because she got all the money.
That's what I'm saying.
And she ain't ever home. I mean, you guys
Never.
are underestimating that she ain't ever gonna be home. You ain't gotta worry about her being there. She's always gone. You're just gonna be hanging out with the butler all day.
Unless you want to go on an adventure with her, which you'll probably die
I
anyway.
ain't going on them adventures. I'm staying home. She'll be running around in rooftops like at home training, and I'll be like sitting there watching Netflix. Like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do some push-ups or something.
Exactly.
I would love to go on an adventure, as long as I know I would live.
Yeah. Well, where's the fun in that?
Well, very much. Hey, I never said I had to come back and whole as whole and come back whole. I could lose an arm or a hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get some battle scars.
All right, so I got.
Yep.
We've done our Love, Marry, Kill. I've got one more thing to talk about, and I don't know if y'all have read this yet because it did just come out. But are any of you guys reading Spawn right now?
no.
So no.
I have not seen a Spawn book at my. I've not seen a new Spawn book at my comic book shop yet. I've seen older ones and I see the collections, but they don't get too much Image comics at my comic book store. I think you have to special order
Probably for a
those
reason.
sometimes. Yeah, it's like here and there I'll see one or two, but it's like it's the smallest groups I see. I see more DC than of any of the groups. It's like Dark Knight's Hawkman Found just came out.
Mm-hmm.
There was still like about 20 still left there, but this tiny pile of Marvel books, and not too many of them. They're like small amounts. There's always so much more DC than Marvel or Image.
I'm such an idiot. I was trying to look. Somebody was asking, is Todd still writing the book? And I was trying to pull the cover, the copy out to check it, and I forgot that I had a digital copy. Todd is still writing it. He's like writing, editing, and all this other stuff. But somebody else is co-writing it with him. Like, so he's like consulting. Like somebody said earlier, he's brought in these other writers to try to fix it. Because this new Spawn is a garbage tornado. What did somebody say today? They were talking about the weather. It was a bomb cyclone or something on the Weather Channel. This is a bomb cyclone. You guys aren't reading it, so you don't know. But I don't know if you guys watched my video.
Yeah, just watching it.
I mean, I didn't know what I was looking at, and some people have been talking about. Oh yeah, somebody says they like Bonehead. Well, good. I like Bonehead too. I had been watching some videos on Spawn, and they were talking about all the cringe. They were saying, "Oh my gosh, this new Spawn is got this bullcrap story. It's not very good. The art's trash." Da 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 da. So when this latest Image book set come around for this week, I saw it in the list, and I was like, let me just read this. Because if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, then you get a cringe video out of it. So I read it and it was cringe. I mean, the story has potential. The story does have potential. It sounds pretty fun because basically Spawn is running around looking for his daughter, which is older now, and she's been captured. So there you go. There's the plot. He's got a daughter. She was captured. He's got to go save her. And so he's basically flying around looking for her. And then you get this really trash art. Like, it's so bad. I mean, it's like, how Marvel here lately has been trying that goofy, like, mud art in some of their books, where you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, where it looks really muddy.
It's scribbly looking. Real scribbly looking.
The Secret Empire, when they're doing some of the books, like, everything's really too dark. And it's, like, really harsh tones and stuff. That's the way this is. This almost looks like it's painted, but it's like somebody painted it angrily. When they painted it, it's like, I'm gonna paint this stupid Spawn picture and put it in the book, and that's what it looks like to me. And the story is not that bad, but the art is just trash. And then you get there, and you got this weird thing going on with Cyan. I don't know what Cyan's been through, but if somebody locks you up in a cell and is giving you drugs and stuff, and they're like going to experiment on you, and you start seeing ghosts, and ghosts are talking to you, you don't talk to them like everything's okay. So I don't know if she's been through a lot already with Spawn, but she seems like nothing bothers her. And I didn't really understand that, because I was like, you're locked in a cell right now and you're not even bothered by it. You know, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But there
How
at
much
the
has
end,
she had seen in her life to do that? It's like, man, she must have gone through,
I mean, right?
like, yeah, like a war, gone through like all this ghost stuff, and everything must be normal to her. Well, her dad is Spawn.
I know, and I don't know.
So
I haven't read any, so I don't know if she knows that he's Spawn. Now, if she knows he's Spawn and she's seen some stuff, then
that would make sense, sort of. But I
mhm.
would still be like, I have no idea about you spirits. Like, what are you doing? Why am I seeing you now? Or like, has she always been able to see them and communicate with them?
Now she was drugged up, so that may be the premise behind it, that she was so drugged up that it just didn't bother her, you know, and because she was just
Have to be
high as a
drugged.
kite, basically. But I don't know. I don't know what. Like I said in my video, I don't recognize this Spawn. I don't understand what they're going for. You guys remember the old Spawn books, right? You remember the old art, the way they had them in the books. I like that. This new stuff, it looks muddy, looks washed out. Now, when Spawn is on the page, it looks good, you know, because he's bright red. He's got green in there, black and white. There's chains flying around.
So
There's
he stands
definition.
out.
Yeah, he stands out exactly. But then when the scenery comes up, it's just like a brown, just poop brown back wall. You know, I don't understand what's going on with the book. And then you had this bad guy in there that's straight up a rip off of Pinhead, and so I don't really know where they're going. I don't know who the guy is, because I don't keep up with the Spawn folklore, you know. So I don't know if he's like a returning character, if this is an all new character. He looks creepy as crap though, so he fits right into the Spawn thing. And so the whole story looks fun. Like I want to like it after reading this issue. But that art, oh, baby, what is you doing? Is what I thought when I read that.
Yeah, I read one from about 3 months ago where he was in Japan and the art was just garbage, real scribbling.
I don't get it.
It's a shame because this, like a few months ago in like the spring, I actually watched the HBO Spawn show, which I thought was like very cool. That was like my first interaction in a long time with Spawn and Spawn. So I was like, wow, to hear the art has like gone down. And you know, Todd McFarlane used to like narrate before every episode, which I thought was cool. He really liked the characters. So
Mm-hmm.
like that.
I have a couple of issues. Like I bought some random issues, like 10 or so issues back, because I really liked the covers. They were randomly at Books A Million. I had some extra money, so I may go back to those and look and see if they're different. Because if this is before that, because see, they had regular covers. They had a regular, like, really good detail Todd McFarlane covers, and that's the reason I got them. They had one where he's like dressed up in combat outfit and he's holding a huge sniper rifle and stuff, and that's cool to me. Then he had another one where he's like flying to the air and his cape's going everywhere. And so I'll have to look in those and see if the inside art is like that. Because if it is, whew. And people can hate on me as much as they want, talking about the nudity in the books. That's fine. I mean, I watched the HBO show. It was pretty rough. The HBO show was pretty rough. But when you just throw it in there for randomness, it doesn't really, like, it's dumb to me. I don't understand, because what it does is it makes it it makes it awkward for me to read it, because if you're flipping through the book and all of a sudden you've got random nudity, you're just like, oh gosh, somebody's going to be looking at this book and it's got this full frontal of this woman just walking around. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. You know what I mean? It's just awkward. Some people's like, what are you talking about? I don't care. But if it's got a purpose, that's cool. But if it's just like this ugly looking naked lady running after Spawn just to be naked, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what they're going for. What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
I mean, random nakedness in the comic book itself, yeah, if it's just to have some naked person there with nothing to add towards the story or anything, I can totally see where you're coming from. 'Cause
That's much now.
I mean, I'm all for nakedness and everything, but
yeah, but I mean, if you're going to read something, if you want to read a story, let's say, for example, you read a story of a woman waking up in a deserted island and she's
yeah,
wearing nothing, that's
yeah,
understandable.
that's one
Probably
thing.
got a shipwreck
Or
or something.
rags.
Yeah.
Freaking rags. But,
Somebody said don't watch High School of the Dead. I did watch High School of the Dead and I liked it. So take your story on and keep walking.
walk on,
Um,
boy.
but yeah, I mean, it's weird, and like High School of the Dead is an anime. Animes are weird, okay? You get that going into it. And Spawn's weird too. I mean, they have some weird craziness in there, but it's not Savage Dragon. I mean, let's not get Savage Dragon in Spawn, okay, guys?
I don't think I've actually seen any Savage Dragon comics at all at my comic book store, which is actually one of the more like everyone keeps complaining about it. I'm like, I can't even get it to roasted. So what? So like, who is even selling them anywhere? It's like I'm surprised it's even getting sold at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Um, I looked at the cover of the Spawn book. I don't know if you guys seen the cover. I was just thinking, whoa, what is this? And then I was like, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna roast this hard. But I like the story. I think it's very interesting. That villain, he's creepy as crap. I mean, I want to see what he can do. And this new Spawn is like a souped up Spawn. He's got different abilities than he used to have, because even the lady that's fighting him says this is not the same Spawn that I fought before. And so I was like, oh, that's intriguing, because then you're getting something different. Like, what's going on? Why has he got these new powers? Um, because that's the cool thing about Spawn. He's almost powered by imagination, almost. You know what I mean? Like, he can do things based on what he wills his costume to do. So that's what I always liked about him. It's like his cape's alive, his chains are alive. He's like a cooler Ghost Rider or something. So that's why I really like him. I've always liked anti-heroes though, so that's why I like him, I like Ghost Rider, and I like Venom, because they don't play by the rules.
I do like stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a side story. What do you guys think about Scott Snyder and his DM and things that he had going on today? Did you guys see DNC video on that?
I did see the DNC video, and I actually took a look at the tweets that he started tweeting out. And this is something that I honestly have been preaching, and so has everybody else, about people taking criticism from, a perspective. We don't want people to bash your work. We don't want to listen to people, talk about your work, your art, your story. Well, if the artists, if the writers were to actually talk to us and give us their perspective and actually tell us what they're trying to portray, instead of trying to block bot us, and call us all racist bigots and whatever, whatnot, maybe we will put more effort into what they're trying to put out on a comic book, And the thing is, once Snyder tweeted that out, we talked about this earlier. Max Pisaggio, she took a whole 180 stance, and is now responding to people. And she's not down talking them. She's not calling them bigots, racist, or whatever. She's actually telling people, "Hey, this is my story. This is what it's about. Tell me what you're finding. Tell me what you're seeing." I mean, this is what we've been wanting as a community: more interaction from fan to artist, writer.
Yeah, because I mean, her, he, or whatever, as a person is a totally different thing than the writer side. If you write
Exactly.
good, we don't care. Now, if you write bad and then you're a weirdo, I mean, that doesn't help the situation. Dan Slott, cough, cough. Um, but her changing her attitude, she ducked out of Twitter for a while, and then now she's come back and she's unblocking people. Now she's probably never going to unblock me. That's probably never going to happen. But I mean, she probably hates me as much as she hates DNC if she's watching my videos. But I mean, that's a whole different thing. But maybe she'll learn from this. Maybe there'll be some changes that'll happen, and because if anybody's going to teach her to act right, it's going to be Scott Snyder, because Scott Snyder's not quite Ethan Van Sciver when it comes to dealing with people on social media. He's pretty close. Like Ethan Van Sciver, you can't get him. You're never going to get Ethan Van Sciver on social media. He is like, I don't know. It's like he's got a force field up, and he is constantly dodging your stuff and bouncing it back at you in a way that is so nice that you just feel bad even saying anything to him. So Mags will probably never be that, but it's a small step. Scott's obviously been working on him pretty good, and we'll see where it goes. Now, the like I was talking about with the Scott Snyder DMing thing, he DM'd me one time when I first got my channel and Twitter and everything. I sent it to DNC. I was like, look, he DM'd me a while back and he thought I was mad. And I felt really bad because he DM'd me all of a sudden. You know, I never talked to him, but he DM'd me and he was like, I'll stop promoting stuff so much. And I was like, no. I mean, because what I had done, I had retweeted one of his promotions, and I was like, Marvel needs to take a hint from Scott Snyder and start promoting their stuff, because I see something from Scott Snyder every day of the week about his books. And then I guess he thought I was mad because he DM'd me and he's like, I'll stop promoting so much. And I was like, no, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job, you know. And it's like, whatever. But I thought that was weird whenever he said that, because then a light went on and it reminded me of when he done that to me, and I was like, he does do that. He DMs people. So, I mean, name another writer for a major company that has ever done that anybody would bring up in conversation. I don't know of anybody that's ever said that another writer did that.
I hear crickets.
Yeah, I mean, besides EVS may do that. Now, he would probably just comment in the tweet, but I don't know any other writer that does that. And that's why Scott Snyder has like multiple books in the top 10 right now. Because he actually cares.
He actually cares, and he put out quality content, man. I mean, like this dark metal series, this event has been amazing. You know, I mean, there's been 2 or 3 books that I didn't like out of the series, but overall, for it being an event from DC, it's pretty kick-ass, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really like Dark Knight's Metal. It's my jam. Like all these characters are my kind of story, and that's why I got so upset when DNC was calling him like Stoner Batman. I was like, if one more of you guys call Stoner Batman, I'm gonna come to your house. I'm gonna slap your dog right in the mouth. Because I'm like, dude, this is cool. I mean, this is 90s nostalgia right here with these bad guys in their costumes. I mean, then you have that Devastator Batman that can change his size. So it's like, you don't know who he is. I mean, he can make himself smaller, and then you'll just be walking around talking to him like normal, and then he turns into this huge Hulk doomsday creature and goes back and forth. I mean, that's cool. These are some cool original characters that he's come up with.
Oh, you know, another thing that Snyder does that none of them do is, like, he always promotes his books constantly. If you see a Scott Snyder tweet, it's almost always a promotion.
Or he's doing something with his kids because he's a normal person.
Oh, yeah. A lot of DC writers do promote their stuff. Like this Joshua Williamson, like who writes The Flash. Like today, he was promoting his book Heavy for this coming issue, then the next issue, then the annual, which is going to be the Flash War, basically, and I'm looking forward to that as well. And then Since Scott Lobdell doesn't really get on Twitter that much at all, his artist Dexter Soy promotes Red Hood and the Outlaws, and Jorge Jimenez is always promoting Superman and Super Sons and everything like that. So, yeah.
I really like him. I like his art. And how'd you say his first name?
Jorge.
Jorge. I call him George. Because then I saw it, I was like George Jimenez. But yeah, I follow him on Instagram. I follow him on Twitter. Just like I follow the artists for Bonehead. Like I was following them way before the book came out, and I was like, "Oh wow, there it is." There's the because I remember seeing the character they were drawing. I was like, "That looks so anime." But these people are cool. I mean, they're normal people. That Jorge guy is like the example of a regular dude working in comics. I mean, he's athletic, he's masculine, he's a cool dude, he's not a psychopath, he's got family and kids, and he really likes drawing and likes comic books. I mean, what else can you ask for? Got some static there, Judy. But I mean, I think that's pretty well got everything said for now. I mean, do you guys in the chats, do y'all have any other questions y'all want to ask? We'll give them just a second to ask here. But as they're asking their questions, did y'all guys watch my cosplay video yet?
I have, actually. I watched part 1 today. It's very good.
I've been very busy today. I actually had to fix do some house repairs and stuff here in the house and help my grandma do stuff. So, but I haven't really gotten to watch too many videos today.
I got a very important question that I have to answer for Berserker. He wants to know about protein powders.
Oh man, here we go. I got one for him.
if you go to get protein powders, you need to make sure that you get the whey isolate, and you also need to make sure that you get one that has low sugar. So make sure it has around 1 to 2 grams of sugar, and that's it in the serving size. And make sure you get one that has at least 24 to 25 grams of protein in each scoop or more. Because any less than that, then you're just wasting time. It's got fillers in there. But I didn't know this, but they put a lot of sawdust and stuff. And I didn't know that, but they fill up a lot of this stuff. So make sure you get a better brand, because like don't go buy your protein at Walmart. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Go buy it at GNC or one of these other name brand stores that gets actual products. And like I use GNC's Gold. I use their GNC Gold mix. It's like a whey isolate, and it's like 25 grams in a scoop, and it's like 2 grams of sugar. And it works so far.
I use a protein called Annex, and it's from Complete Nutrition, and it is 45 grams protein, 2 scoops, but it's peanut butter flavor, and I love it, man. It is amazing.
You got to watch out with the flavored stuff. Like I messed up, and don't buy the crazy flavored stuff, because a lot of times you're going to mix it with something else. And like I put mine in skim milk when I drink it.
Oh no!
And so I usually just get vanilla, vanilla or vanilla custard or something like that. Something that's not a really strong, weird flavor. And it works out just fine. Because I drink skim milk. That's what I drink anyway. It doesn't matter to me. If I drank at 2% after drinking skim, I would feel like I was drinking soup. But see, I don't eat a whole lot of fat. So when I eat my fat, I'm usually eating like sweets or something.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to like eat more fish. I'm trying to cut off like most of my stuff. Just start eating more fish.
Yeah.
Great.
Fish is good. Don't eat too much fish though, because you get a lot of mercury. Let's see what some questions are here. It says, oh, they said bye. Okay. Seem to like they want, of course, if they okay. I don't see any questions, but Donna's like skim milk is water. Okay, your point is I'm drinking it because it's non-fat.
Speaking of
We have a
water, though,
question from Trevino286. He says DNC mentioned DC was getting some more SJW stuff. Do we
He
see
mentioned
that?
what?
He asked the question. DNC mentioned DC was getting more SJW stuff. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that it's slipping in. You got Snagglepuss.
oh,
You got Snagglepuss is probably going to get canceled after 6 issues. I can go ahead and tell you that right now.
the thing with like that is nobody really. It's not really their mainstream thing. Like, you're not really seeing it in Superman. It was handled well in Action Comics, and it's been left. Batman, it's not in it. Wonder Woman, where people thought that was a problem, apparently has 180'd and it's become like an adventure comic.
It's one of my favorite ones right now. That's how good it's turned around.
Oh, actually, read someone on Twitter. Sorry, with the Snagglepuss. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's cool.
They actually stated that the SJW stuff is in there, but if you read the writing,
Yeah.
actually, the SJWs are more from the villains. Like with the wording, it's like with the moral, like, oh, we have to do this for the moral stuff, and like going all crazy.
I did read about that where people were saying it was that way. So that may be like a slight to SJWs then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they are doing it in the 1950s. It's not like it's current year. They're doing it in the 1950s, so this may be like a trope to mess with the SJWs a little bit.
But apparently,
so pretty much like, they're bringing in the SJWs just to. Sorry.
That's cool. Sorry.
Somebody asked here. Berserker was asking about the protein stuff again. He says, is a protein shaker worth it? I'm mixing my powder with a spoon. You need to take that spoon that you've been using to mix that protein powder with and grab it in your hand firmly and smack yourself right on the nose with it. Because if you've looked at my pictures on Twitter, I just put a picture the other day where I have my wife surprised me with a wine bottle rack. And I put my shakers in there because I have so many shakers. Definitely go out and get you a shaker. The ones that I like now are the ones that have the rod in the middle, and it has the metal ball shaker that just goes up and down the rod instead of having like a loose ball. That mixes really well.
All right, shake.
Do what?
I was just saying, it sounded like shake weight to me. But
yeah,
all right, go ahead.
It's basically a shake weight. The little ball just goes up and down the rod on the inside instead of having a loose ball that gets everywhere. This one mixes it up real even, so I like it. I think it's a Stormtrooper one. I got a Stormtrooper one. My wife has that Nissan Rogue One edition, and so I got her the Stormtrooper shaker glass to go with it. I'm the best. Hey, what's cool about that car that she got, the Rogue One edition? Everyone that gets one gets a free Death Trooper helmet.
You gotta wear it for a video.
Well, you can't wear it. Gentle Giants made it. That company, Gentle Giants, that does those really expensive statues.
Yeah.
They made it, and it's basically a bust on a stand, which made me kind of sad. But there's only 2,600 of those things because there's only 2,600 cars of that. And it's really cool. It's really high detailed. I may do like a video showing you, but you get like the authenticity thing. You get the card, the number. You get the box. You get a stand for it. You get a dusting rag. I mean, they like these things. And I had to go through a little bit to get it because you had to make sure that you mailed off to get them to send it to you and all that kind of stuff because they just don't have it with the cars. Like you had to buy it. And they had to send it in that you bought it and they sent it to your house. So when I was like, yes, I put that thing up. It's heavy now. It's legit. So it's awesome. And no, Donna, my wife is not a nerd. It's a funny story about that car. She really needed SUV, and we saw it at the dealership. And she loves black. She loves black on like instead of chrome. She likes like the black wheels and the black grill and everything. So we pulled up to look at it, and she said, this is a Star Wars car. And I was like, what? It is. And so, that pretty much, she already loved it. But then at that point, she's weighing it. You can see it in her eyes. She's weighing the options in her mind right now. Do I want a Star Wars car? Because she's not nearly the nerd that I am when it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, it's got a Star Wars badge on the side. It's got a Star Wars symbol on the back quarter panel.
Yeah.
The seals on the inside of the door lights up Star Wars. You have like the mats have embroidered Star Wars Rogue One on it. I mean that they went all out on this car, but she really loves it.
Yeah, my Audi. When I got my Audi, it's black and white, and so I darkened the tail light. And so if you look at it from a distance, the back end of it looks like a stormtrooper helmet.
Oh, that's
So
cool. Well, she
love
really
it.
likes it. And the stupid thing gets like 40 miles a gallon, so we'll probably keep it for a while.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome. And then my car gets 11.
Okay.
I have a Mustang GT, and it's like I have it all souped up. And when it's running, it sounds like a race car, and it runs so rich that if you're standing behind it, you can smell the fuel. It's like spitting fuel at you because it's running so rich. But
You don't even need to
man,
go to the station. It's right there.
it'll go. Oh, it's got a cat delete and everything. I'm totally illegal. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. So it's like straight pipes going out the back to these little bitty mufflers. So when it turns on, everybody just stops talking. Like if I'm at a restaurant and I crank up my car, everybody be walking outside and they'll just stop and they'll just be looking at me like, that freaking jerk. In his loud car. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It won't be quiet. It's just like this all the time. But I don't care because I love it.
All right.
Well, I don't see any more. Oh, it says what year GT? It is a 2007 GT. Because I've always been a muscle car guy. That's why I like Sean Gordon Murphy so much, because he's a car guy.
Yes.
He's really good at drawing cars. I mean, he is sick at drawing cars.
He's a god at drawing cars.
I mean, he's got a freaking shifter knob tattooed on his hand. But he's really good at it. But mine's a 2007, and I've always liked muscle cars, but I've always liked Mustangs too, because it's like a sentimental value thing with me and my dad. So that's why I really like them, because people's all the time like, you need to get a newer Mustang. You know, they had those new ones. Like, no, I'm gonna keep this one. I like this one. I don't want another one. I like this one. But hey, do you guys have anything else that y'all wanted to talk about?
No,
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
I'm good.
You good? I don't think I got anybody
good.
in the chat asking anything. Waltzilla has a lot of cool cars, it looks like. Oh yeah, we were talking the other day about Waltzilla and his cool cars. He's got like a that Nissan GTR and some other stuff like that. He's got some cool cars.
Oh,
He's got a LT1. Looks like an LT1 Firebird. Cool. Well, I hope you guys had fun. I know I had fun. We talked about a lot of stuff. I like to do this because the whole point of this chat is to let people know that we're not all Dan Slott, and that we're all regular people and we like comic books. And we're going to talk about cool comic books in a guy way. Because you know they have that what's that TV show with Kevin Smith in it, Comic Book Man or whatever.
yeah.
That's cool
that.
and everything, but Kevin Smith is not us. You know,
Yeah.
Kevin Smith is more of a Big Bang Theory type of guy, as opposed to us, the way we talk about comics. So it's good to get a different perspective. Now, Kevin Smith does know comic books. I would not want to be in a trivia with him. But I want to do this chat because I want to talk about things, talk about man stuff. I want to talk about some man stuff, some man comics. And, you know, see what happens. Have some fun with it. Get some different guys on here every time. We got Conservative Nerd on here this time. So we're going to get some different people in here. DMI was in the last one. And I don't know, maybe one day we'll get some big guys in here. We'll get like, I know
I love
Dan's-
comics.
I love comics. Maybe he'll come in here sometime. I know DNC will probably never do it because, I mean, I think he's just really busy because people say he's a snob, but I think he's just really busy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever be in here, but it would be cool to get some other people. Wouldn't it be cool to like get some comic book pros in here sometime?
I know. That's what I was
Like,
saying.
even
EVS in here. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he would.
Oh yeah.
EVS was in my cosplay chat this morning at 6:00 in the morning.
Cool.
He was on there chatting up, and I was like, "That's awesome." But yeah, he's a regular guy, so you never know. Somebody like that might come on here. We might have EVS on here one day. He'll be like, "What's up?" And I'll be like, I can't talk good."
No,
What do I
gotta
wanna
get our
say?
T levels up for that one.
Yeah, I had to get our T levels up. All right, guys. Well, hope y'all had fun. Say
yeah.
bye to everybody. We're gonna go.
Bye.
Donna Troy says one day she'll be there. Donna Troy, you can't come on here. This is for men, not women's. But all right, we'll see you guys later. Everybody say bye.
All right, see you
Bye.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.